governance. What was your experience like in capturing 8 years and leading Plateau State to the point where you left it after 8 years?
Well, if I'm to go back and start telling you how I met Plateau and what we went through and how I left it, requires a complete day of discussion because a lot was done, and but what one can just say briefly was that I don't want to speak as if my predecessors had not done anything on the Plateau, but the truth is that the Plateau people themselves know how we met Plateau. Plateau was in complete deficit of infrastructure. There was no part of Plateau, even the state capital, that you can say already infrastructure had been done and you are just going to start building on. You see, one thing of development is that if one governor comes and does something and others don't come and build on, the whole thing deteriorates again and you're back to square one. And I think that was what really happened. I mean, one must give credit to somebody like Chief Solomon Lar. He did his best with the foreign loan he got. He put some infrastructure here and there. Take example, the cottage hospitals, which are now started upgrading them to 60-bed hospitals with theaters, with delivery theaters, and so on. So that is upgrading what has been done. If somebody have done that after people who took over from Solomon Lar before it got to me, I would have not been going back again to that kind. I would have done something else and moved forward. But I had to go back to Solomon last time to upgrade the cottage hospitals. That's just an example. Now, Plateau's finances have always been one of the lowest in the country in terms of the money we get from the federation account. But people thought it was a magic we kind of did, that we were able to do the much infrastructure we put on the ground. But I mean, one had to pray for wisdom from God, and I thank the Almighty God. He gave me a lot of wisdom. Frankly speaking, I would say God gave me a lot of wisdom, and I'm grateful to the Almighty God. Because if you calculate all the amounts of money are collected within 8 years from the federation account and internally generated revenue, and calculate the money we spent on infrastructure, what we collected may not be even up to half, assuming everything you got went on infrastructure. But there was a way we went about it that people don't understand. If you look at our budgets, we had provision for internal and external borrowing to run the budget. And we used that very effectively, so that we always had money paying contractors and jobs were being done, while the little we were getting now started taking care. But when it was getting too much on the state, we now went for the bond. And this administration must be eternally grateful to me. Because if I had allowed them to go and inherit those loans, they would not be able to do anything today. But we went for the bond, we got the bond, and we paid all the banks. And now Plateau is only paying a little over 600 million every month, and it was now moved for many years. They'll continue paying. That's the idea of the bond. That's why they are able to collect money from the federation account without problem. But rather of them to look at such things and appreciate the.
So would you say they misunderstand the benefits and the things you did as a governor? Because apparently
it's not only them, even the Plateau people themselves don't understand what I did as a governor. But I leave that for posterity to judge.
Plateau State was supposed to benefit from the Northeast initiative that was recently debated in the 8th National Assembly. But for some reason, everybody was cheering on, and it appears politics took away that benefit from Plateau State. What was it like to be sitting in the Senate chambers and being denied the chance to have Plateau people benefit from such initiative?
Well, frankly speaking, these bills were being debated from both the Senate and the House of Reps. The Senate included Kano and Plateau. See, some people were trying to argue that Plateau and Kano are not in the Northeast, and we argued. If you look at the NNDC NNDC states, there are states that are not within the South-South that are part of NNDC. So that it has a name. South-South.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that it doesn't have external
influence on some other states.
On some of these things that others are benefiting from it because they happen to fall under the same sort of situation. And based on that argument, which was argued very effectively, interestingly, we had the greatest support from a senator from Zamfara. And the Senate passed it. But when they went to meet to harmonize Senate and House, we then got to know that they removed Kano and Plateau. And once it has been removed, you cannot debate it again. It's either you approve it or you just disapprove the whole thing. And it was felt it was unfair for us to canvass for the disapproval of the whole package for the Northeast, knowing how our brothers and sisters there have suffered. So we allowed it, and it was agreed that once the bill is signed into law, then an amendment would be made. But my fear is that, Nigerians, the way we do our things, you'll not be surprised that every area that has had one problem or the other will start asking for such kind of a commission. And the whole thing will become ridiculous. But I would just ask the people of Plateau State to be patient. We did our best, but we don't know what happened in the House of Reps, that they didn't approve it from the House of Reps, and the House of Reps came and influenced the joint meeting and take off Kano and Plateau. But that is what happens, not as if we didn't fought for it. We had fought for it in the Senate and we got it in.
Solid minerals is coming into the picture as a means of generating funds for the federal government. Plateau is known extensively for the mining in which it stands for. I do understand there are discussions as much as 13% derivatives to be given to states. Are you pushing for such benefit to come to Plateau State as well, if the government were to incline towards mining for the country, with Plateau State, of course, being one of the largest states that provided substantially to the national purse in time past?
Of course, there's no way you talk of derivation in solid minerals. That Plateau will not be there. After all, before oil, we maintained the economy of this country by tin and columbite, and we're still having the devastating effect on our land. So there's no way anybody would talk of a derivation for solid minerals producing states, and Plateau will not be there. My major problem is the fact that I have not seen the level of seriousness of the federal government to develop the solid minerals. I'm being very honest about it. Politics aside, even our own PDP government did not take the solid minerals thing seriously. And so is this one. I don't know whether it is because of the states where these solid minerals are that People don't care about us, but there's a need to look at this solid minerals matter seriously. And it's not just having a ministry with a minister years in, years out, and you've never seen anything. You see, even people, foreigners are now coming illegally to mine and go, and the federal government is closing their eyes as if they don't know what is happening. Of course, the natives too are trying to have their own share, but do they even have the equipment to mine properly? They just dig the surface, get little tin or whatever they get, wash, and go and sell and make some little money to live on. That's not the way to develop solid minerals. So if federal government is serious about solid minerals, let them be serious and take absolute, since the constitution gives them the right over the solid minerals and not the states. And let them develop it so that we can also benefit from it as a government, for us to be able to develop on various states.